Good morning. Thought we'd have a little casting session this morning. And one of them is going to be a new pattern that we haven't cast before. And the other one is going to be another of our little match plate vibrators like we've done before. So I actually just finished one of these, my last casting session, or another one of these. And it came to a little bit of a revelation. The original plans, and of course this is a Steve Chastain design for this match plate vibrator. He calls for the pattern to be made with it's got a core in it because it's got a liner. Where's one of my liners here? It's got a steel liner in it, and they call for this core pattern to be a baked core. And what I've discovered is, if it's like the last time I cast one here a few days ago, why it doesn't need to be a baked core. It can be just a standard sand core, and the last one came out better than the baked cores that I had. It's got a nicer finish in it and just does a better job. So we'll see if we can't just ram up another green sand core and see how it comes out this time around. So we're just taking you along for the ride. I'll tip this down so you can see what's going on, and we'll see if we can't get a couple of these patterns rammed up. Like that bottom board a little bit better. And this is our older flask that's got the larger cast hardware on it. The newer ones, of course, we're using the newer style hardware on. I like it a little bit better, a little lighter, a little easier to move around. But this one still works. We'll start with the bottom since we don't have to do anything there. The sand's a little bit damper than it probably needs to be, but I'll bet it'll ram up fine. We should get a good pattern out of it. And we started casting this with that smaller sprue. And I don't know that it makes that big a difference for the level of castings that I'm doing here. You know, probably in a more technical aspect, it probably is a better setup. But like I say, I don't know that it makes a whole lot of difference here. Now I think before I open this up, we'll go ahead and ram up our core. Oh, got a little bit of a drop out there, but not too bad, it doesn't look like. Yeah, that actually, as long as it sets down in, makes a real nice little core. And like I say, on the last one, it did a little bit better job of cleaning up and being a better core. Okay, now let's see what we got going here now. There's the first one. Just now kind of temporarily plumbed everything back in for air here, so we've got to do some modifications. Anyway, that looks like a good pull out of there. So we've got our base here. We have a picture of that. Yeah, we kind of do. This is the upper section. Let me see if I can get my core out here without breaking anything and still give you a picture of it. Okay, so here's our core. I will kind of break these outer edges where the two halves come together. We'll see if we can't get it down in the down here into its cavity. A little bit proud there, that'll set on in. We are all gated. Clean out our sprue here. That's a real nice clean pull out of there. I'm really happy with that. Yeah. Kind of trying to get used to this new equipment. I'm not really sure how anything looks or sees or sits. But there's our upper half. Go ahead and clean out as best we can without spreading sand all over out of these pins. Call that good. And we should be able to that core tends to float just a little bit higher, not seat all the way in, so it actually deforms the sand a little bit to get down in there, but we're going to leave that just like that. I think that'll work just fine. And there's the first one done. Let me just set it aside. And our second pattern is one that I have not rammed up yet or cast. And it's going to be the electrical box mounting brackets for the Atlas Shaper. This is the S7-302G patterns. or switch plate that everybody seems to think is so rare. So I think that feels a little now it takes a little bit for these to seat on in and get to really feeling good. Give them a little bit of graphite there just to maybe help them a little bit. Ooh. Get it the right way here. Well, let's try that. Put our gate and the riser on the top. Give it quite a bit of parting compound in here just to make sure we got things going the way they're supposed to. Doesn't want to sit on there very flat. I'm not sure if that's the flask or the bottom board that's out of level there. I've used this flask quite a bit. I don't really think it's that. It may be the bottom board not wanting to sit quite true to the world under it. Doesn't want to sit there. We'll may have to be doing a little bit of sanding on that. Put this little whip hose on here. I don't know if that's something I want to do on the rest of them or not. It seems to be something else that's kind of hanging in the way. No, I think that's the bottom board that's not quite level. Let's, we'll finish it out with this one. We put which way do we want to feed this? Let's see here. I think we want to feed off of this side. This little riser right about there. Now neither of these are a big enough casting. I know the match plate vibrator I don't need to vent. And this one I don't think I'd need to either, but that's what we learn on the first one or two pours out of a new pattern, is what adjustments we need to make to it. This is relatively shallow and relatively flat. Doesn't have a whole lot of metal going into it. There's our riser. There's our sprue. All right. First time we've used this vibrator. Move it down here a little bit. Okay. That's pretty good pull. That looks like a good pull. So I want to check my gating and clean out our sprue and our riser, and that looks pretty good, I think. This pattern can use another coat of finish on it. Well, as we're gated, looks pretty good all the way around. Don't know how well you can see that. I'm happy with that. We don't have any tear out or anything at all there. So that one looks good. So let's clean up this gating just a little bit here. All in all, I think that looks pretty good. Now I might just add a vent in here. Actually, let's add a couple of vents just because we can. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. But if we can't get it back together, okay. So there's both of those. I'm going to ram up a couple of sprues and risers, extended sprues and risers. 3 of them I need. And we'll go ahead and get these set up and light off the furnace. So we'll bring you back in just a few here.